Welcome to welcome to the internet, ladies and gentlemen, and the live stream signing event for our new book, Little Woodchucks. My name is Nick Offerman,
And I'm Lee Buchanan.
and together we are one little and one medium woodchuck. Lee Buchanan got her first taste of woodworking in the kids' carpentry program in Berkeley, California at the age of 7. The passion stuck, and after stints as a scenic carpenter, then building science exhibits at the Exploratorium Museum, she met a guy named Nick and spent a decade running his LA wood shop. Seems like there should be an adjective in there.
Feel free to add one.
A beefy guy named Nick. She was designing and building furniture and carving a whole lot of mustache combs.
True.
Lee now lives back in the Bay Area where she builds custom furniture as Lee Build, LeeBuild.com.
That's right.
And she draws cartoons, bakes bread, and makes fun stuff for and with her 2 little boys in their home wood shop. Lee Buchanan.
Thanks, Nick. I'm here to introduce my co-author, Nick Offerman. He is an actor, humorist, and woodworker. Nick Offerman is the New York Times best-selling author of Paddle Your Own Canoe,
Woo!
Gumption,
Hell yeah.
Good Clean Fun,
Sweet.
and Where the Deer and the Antelope Play, as well as co-author of The Greatest Love Story Ever Told with his wife, Megan Mullally. His on-screen credits include the Emmy Award-winning role of Bill in The Last of Us,
Scintillating.
Ron Swanson on NBC's Parks and Recreation,
Beefy.
and co-host and executive producer of NBC's Making It.
Bring it back.
In 2025, Nick is featured in Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. You gonna make a noise?
Yeah, I can't remember what happens.
Okay. Death by Lightning on Netflix.
That's coming right up, and it's a doozy.
And as the voices of Papa Smurf's brother in the Smurfs movie.
Ken. But Death by Lightning is based on a book, where this is a book event, by Candace Millard, the great historical writer. And her book is called Destiny of the Republic, adapted by Mike Makowski. If you like America, you're going to love Death by Lightning.
Awesome. And Beef Tobin in the Fox animated series The Great North. Nick and Megan live in Los Angeles, California, with their pups and a fairly decent collection of assorted wood clamps.
That's right. Thank you for that generous introduction.
You're welcome, and it's all true. Little Woodchucks is an illustrated woodworking guide with projects for the whole family, combining Nick Offerman's signature wry humor with clearly written and joyfully illustrated project illustrations.
Folks, I am Rye.
Little Woodchucks is the perfect way to encourage eye contact with other old-fashioned familial engagements, while introducing young woodworkers to the satisfaction and good, clean fun of hands-on crafting. Signed copies of our awesome new book is available at premiercollectibles.com/woodchucks. And now I'm going to ask you a few questions.
And now, all right, let the questions begin.
All right, Nick. So Little Woodchucks is both a beginning woodworking guide and an invitation for families to make things together. What inspired you to create a book geared towards kids, families, and other woodworking novices?
Thank you for that generous question, Lee.
You're welcome.
Lee and I both grew up in households with excellent parents who taught us to make things with our hands and tools and ingenuity. Make things of all sorts. We both were taught to bake bread and garden and mend, sew a button on our clothing, but both of our proclivities lean toward making things out of wood. and it's made both of our lives very happy and fruitful. That's what brought us together many years ago.
19, well, some years ago.
It's
It's
it's like 18
2009,
years
18
ago,
years
17
ago.
years ago. Wow.
Holy cow.
When I was 11.
Want a hug?
And you were -2. And over the years, we've noticed a lot of people didn't learn to use tools as kids, and they don't know how to make stuff with their families. And we said, this is such a simple thing that's very inexpensive and so much fun that you can do with your family. It's great for parents and kids and siblings, but it's also great for groups of friends, for people in the neighborhood. Anybody can get together in a piratical way in the garage and make cool things with wood and tools. And you don't have to have a garage. You can make it in the corner of your kitchen. You can make it in a pew at church and see what happens. That's going to be a lesson in comportment. But you can make things almost anywhere. And so that's why we had the idea to make this book, because it's so satisfying to put your phone down and make choices in your household that aren't determined by a corporation or AI or anybody but you and your sense of fun. Once you start making things out of wood, you realize you can make so much incredible stuff. For me, I ended up making a canoe out of wood and paddling it across a river because there was a taco stand on the other side. And so if you like tacos, you're going to love this book.
Fantastic. And for me, I think I didn't make a canoe, but one of my early Little Woodchuck projects was a skateboard and a scooter.
Come on, man.
Yeah, so awesome. So it's not like floating across a river or anything, but I lived on a hill, and riding that thing down the hill was pretty exhilarating.
Hella exhilarating.
Yes.
In the neighborhood you grew up in.
That's right.
And by the way, let me correct you. My second canoe, Lee made it with me. Like, we made my second canoe together. It was a gift.
That's how we met.
That's right.
Basically.
That was our first
collab.
Our first play date. And we made that canoe for Jimmy DiResta, who's one of the greatest makers. If you ever think I'm nervous about making things, look up jimmydiresta.com, DIRESTA. He's the greatest maker I know. He has a TV show called Making Fun, and he was also on Making It. He ran the shop out back on Making It. And so after all these years, we're still not sorry that we made him a beautiful canoe.
True. Okay.
Next question.
Yep. Out of all the projects in the book, which one do you think is the most fun to make?
That's a great question. I do happen to have my slapstick that I made. And if you don't know what that is, because many don't, it's where the term slapstick comedy comes from. And it's when you're on stage, this looks like a paddle, but because of this hinged piece, it slaps. And so you can imagine pretending to slap people. What could be more fun than pretending to slap people? Nobody gets hurt, but you get to act like you've been whacked, and you can stage fights. So that wasn't going to be my answer, but I guess it is.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like my answer changes every day, actually, depending on my mood.
It's true. The book is that damn fun. Sorry, I'm going to try to curb my language here, but it is that dang fun. Glam dang it. It is the greatest. And my answer is the slapstick.
Slapstick. Okay. I feel like right now I'm feeling the carved creatures, because the question is what was the most fun to make? Just that those you can go out into the backyard or into a city park and find a couple branches and sit down with your kids and whittle, which is like, what's more satisfying and fun than that when we come down to it, and you're outside. So right now that feels like the most fun to make. Then you get to like decorate them and give them mustaches and legs and pigtails and stuff.
First of all, thank you for pointing out my poor reading comprehension, that it is the most fun to make and not the most fun. That's my short attention span. And so for me, I'm going to say the most fun to make is the box kite, because it's creating this structure of long dowel rods and cork and paper and glue, and you've made a kite with which you can drop eggs on your neighbor's children. But real quick, you said you're going to take your kids out in a park and sit and whittle.
That's right.
Is that a good idea to give a child a knife that could carve a stick?
Sure, it's a great idea. I think if you do it in such a way that you teach them the safety principles, there's about 3 or 4 really basic safety principles for carving that
What-
kids can
Like
pick
what?
up. There's something called a blood circle, which is basically like basically your blood circle is like your arms outspread.
Uh-huh.
So nobody's inside your blood circle when you're carving. So
Okay.
you're not going to accidentally. And we kind of broke that rule in the book because of the photo shoot. We kind of all squeezed in.
It's true,
So
but I think we pointed out at
Yeah,
at
we
one
did.
point.
We did. Yeah.
Is it maybe? Do you think we should come up with a name that's less off-putting than blood circle?
Well, yes. That's not our term. That
The-
was a term my son came home from
The
camp
first
with.
safety ritual when we are carving is the blood circle.
Yeah, you draw a circle in blood.
Trace a pentagram take a stick, and it doesn't matter if it's goat blood or
No, yeah.
just make a circle in blood, and then pray for safety.
Yeah.
Is that the
That's
idea?
sort of like the vibe of our book, right?
But it is a good point. A safety circle.
A safety circle, much
I mean,
better.
some people I think are just triggered by the word blood.
Fair enough.
I'm not. It's for me. That's
But
something
maybe
that
parents
you make
are
pudding
not
with
into it.
in a full English breakfast.
Mhm. Yeah. Always carve away from your body.
That's right. You mean like this?
Yeah. And
So that if your sharp blade goes awry, you're not sticking it in any part of your body or anyone else because no one has been allowed in your blood circle.
exactly. And then coming to mind, the third one would be not to do it too close to your major arteries, which are in your junk
Man,
region.
you are obsessed with blood and arteries.
And just make sure a parent's around. I mean, be nearby because there might be a slip and a Band-Aid might be needed, but
It's just like
you should see my hands.
it's
They're like gushing with blood right now.
Totally.
I'm a woodworker.
But it's similar to teaching your kid to slice a cucumber or tomato in the kitchen.
That's right.
Be supervised, understand the way to do it safely and the way not to. And also a common misconception is that you don't want to give a kid a sharp blade, but that's actually wrong because if you give me a dull blade and ask me to whittle this pencil and it's dull, that means I have to use more muscle and the chances are greater that I'm going to slip and end up poking something I don't want to. But if the blade is sharp, then you can carve with more control, and it ends up like carving a block of butter.
It's delicious.
It really is.
Right? Peeling off the bark, especially on like nice green wood and get into that creamy center. And
it is. I mean, I'm telling you, grab a length of stick and a nice sharp whittling knife and just take the bark off a stick.
That's it.
It is really addictive.
It's great stuff.
All right.
When you were a beginner woodchuck, what was the first thing you ever built that got you hooked on making things?
Well, I built a sphere of white oak to contain my blood circle. Just kidding. I mean, I didn't have this book. My dad loved using tools, and he taught me to be a carpenter. But I'm a slow learner. Like, I got my big break as an actor when I was almost 40 as Ron Swanson. And so when I was a kid, I was learning to use tools, but everything I made kind of sucked. I made a pretty nice tread on the back porch one time, and I helped my dad. We made a small barn when I was like in high school. I made a blanket chest for my girlfriend, and I wood burned a verse of poetry on the inside of the lid.
Ooh.
In the hopes of getting kissed, and it was indeed effective.
Nice one. All right. Well, I already talked about my skateboard. That's kind of like that was it.
That is exciting, though. That's something that when we sort of came up with the projects that we were going to do for the book, because at one time we made skateboards at the shop. Maddie made
Yeah,
her run of
we taught a
skateboards.
couple workshops, me and Maddie,
Yeah.
where we made skateboards, and it's a fun. I mean, then we were buying blanks that were already cut out, but
Right.
I remember as a kid, coping saw, piece of plywood. Oh, the scooter was the coolest because we drilled a hole in the deck and somehow fastened a 1-inch dowel into it, and then put a tennis ball on top of that, and that was my ride.
Wow. That's
So you're like steering with the tennis ball, and an 8th grade boyfriend's friend crashed it in bushes of Berkeley somewhere, and it's gone. So, but I got to do I was part of a kids carpentry program in Berkeley, an after school program. So I feel like because you were like on a farm, like actually building useful things, and I did this program and I got to build lots of like fun projects that some of which are actually in this book because my kids also are in the same woodworking program 8 million years later.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, we lived down the road from my family's farm. My uncles and grandparents farmed pigs and corn and soybeans. So I was allowed to operate vehicles and use tools, but I wasn't very good at it. Like they were really generous with me. Uncle Dan and Uncle Don and Grandpa Mike, and Grandpa Mike first taught me to sharpen a hoe for weeding out in the cornfields with a file.
Cool.
And that was a huge lesson because it was from that he said you should keep your pocket knife sharp. So that was when I learned to start sharpening my blades so that it would be safe and I wouldn't bleed in or out of my blood circle.
I think it's also important, like all the times that we really sucked at woodworking were like, they were so important to our development, and we had no less fun making all the projects that totally sucked. Like in college, I made back when we had CDs, I made like a narrow book or CD shelf.
You're talking about compact discs?
Yes. So imagine they're kind of 5 inches deep. So I made this like tall, narrow thing, which is like not very structurally sound.
Right.
And I had it in my co-op room, and every time I closed the door, it like fall over, just like the CD case is breaking everywhere. And it was like my pride and joy, man. I traveled with that thing from California to the East Coast because I was so proud of it.
Wow.
I guess I didn't know about like fastening things to walls back then.
Yeah, I mean, I'm picturing like you need like some of those lines down to stakes, like a circus tent.
Sure, yeah,
or a radio tower.
Yeah, or just like a screw.
It's a great. We say this in the book. It's one of the wonderful things about woodworking is you have to make mistakes, and you learn to be patient and forgiving with yourself as a human, because you never get anything right on the first try. And I'm 55, and I never get anything right on the first try, woodworking or not. But my wife is very patient with me, and I will do the dishes whenever I can, and so we stay together. But in woodworking, we're so confident that we're going to make a mistake, we buy extra wood at the beginning of the project so that we can screw it up. We're like, okay, this is a compound angle. And you're like, oh, okay, that sucked. Okay, so then you try it again. And when you finally figure it out, then you say, okay, bring on the mahogany.
Exactly,
Now I will try and cut the expensive stuff. And you can apply that to your whole life.
For sure. It's like first draft, second draft, published book. Oh, that's loud.
Sorry, I saw a mosquito.
So you've done TV, movies, woodworking, and writing. How do all those parts of your career fit together for you? And how does each medium engage different parts of your creativity?
Well, first of all, thank you. I didn't realize this was going to turn into a bragging contest. But how do they fit together? I'll tell you what, I feel so lucky that I get paid to be an actor. Like that's like winning the lottery, to just get a damn job as an actor. And it took me a long time. I had to make a lot of mistakes and screw up a lot of secondary woodcuts, as we say, before I sort of got my big break and I was trusted to like carry a show. And so on top of that, it all came organically. Like I was building scenery because I could get paid to do that. And it was a way that I could make theater and be involved with a collaboration before they would give me a part on stage. And then once I started touring as a humorist and started writing material, I'd always wanted to like make people laugh with funny songs, and I definitely lean on the help of musicians. My friend Mark Rivers and Jeff Tweedy and my wife Megan and my friend Cornmo have all helped me compose songs. Whereas like I contribute a lot of the clumsy rhymes and the jokes, but I definitely am not a catchy songwriter. So like I collaborate with friends, but it all has come just naturally. Then when I started touring, and I was like, oh, people see I guess I can entertain people with my writing. So then I started writing books, and I just love getting to do all these things. So they all, I don't know, they all feel of a similar ilk because they all feel like trying to, I'll make you a table and you can put your steak and your beer on it, or I'll make you a play or a song or a show, and it will also give you respite. You can rest the soul, the beer of your soul, upon the table of my situation comedy. Go ahead. I'm going to give you a second to write that down and send it off to the plaque makers. And thank you in advance for throwing me a parade for coming up with that sentiment.
Yeah, I agree. I think that being a little woodchuck is not just about making things out of wood.
It's a way of life.
It's a way of life for both of us, medium and large woodchucks. It's about making things, about fixing things that are broken, finding things and taking them apart.
Here's the thing. I learned and continue learning that I own a mirror. Like I have to look at this when I get up in the morning. My wife looks like a baby fawn as drawn by Pixar, and then I go brush my teeth, and I'm like, oh my, I'm like a sad walrus's butthole, and that's my deal, and I'm cool with it because I have charm. And so, if you're clumsy, if you look like this, you can still use your charm, and anything we make doesn't look like it's perfect from a factory. That's the whole point. That's why you don't want AI running your life. That's why you don't want robots or computers cutting your dovetails, because what's the point? Nobody's making any art. You're not putting your stamp on it as a human being. When we make stuff, it's groovy and weird and flawed. Like this is, if you bought this at Target, it would look way better. It would look way more perfect without flaws. Then it has no personality. I'll take the butthole of the walrus any day, and I'll give you a second to write that one down. And I give you free dispensation if you want to make that into a t-shirt.
All right, you ready for some rapid fire questions?
Hit me.
All right, where were you born?
In a hospital in Joliet, Illinois. That doesn't, like everyone says you're from Joliet. That's not a nice thing to say to somebody. I'm from Minooka, Illinois, but I was born in the hospital in Joliet.
What is your favorite color?
Blue-green.
What is the one thing you need to have in your fridge at all times?
Eggs.
Okay. Who is the most interesting person you met recently?
Ooh.
Do you notice how fast I'm talking when I'm asking the rapid fire questions?
The rapid fire questions.
Yeah.
You would not believe how fast I'm thinking right now. A guy named Chris I met yesterday, who has been the clubhouse manager in the baseball park for the Harrisburg Senators for 18 years. And I was sorry that we had to leave because Chris we had a couple stories, and he's had Bryce Harper come through his locker room. He's had Juan Soto, Steven Strasburg, and many others. Chris was very interesting.
What is your biggest pet peeve?
Biggest pet peeve? Fast talking co-authors.
Okay, well, you want to know what mine is?
Yeah.
Because you did it. You said it. Mine is playdate.
Oh.
Yeah.
The term playdate?
Yeah, like when I had kids, I was like, I'm never going to be one of those people that says playdate. Like, what the is that? And now I say it all the time. Like it's like emojis. Now I use them, but I never wanted to.
Is it just like an upsetting word, like panties?
Kinda, yeah.
Where it's just
exactly
like
panties. Yeah, it's like,
The concept of a play date is cool, right?
Yeah, but like,
just come up with a better
play.
name
Let's just
for
play.
it.
Let's
All right.
not do a play date.
Well, let's brainstorm a better name for a play date.
Yeah, we should have put something in the book about that.
Woodchuck jam sesh.
Perfect. Okay, what is your favorite hobby?
What is my favorite hobby? Woodworking, I still don't consider it a hobby, even though I personally have never really made much of a living from it. But it is.
Neither has anybody who's a professional woodworker.
But we do it professionally.
Yeah.
So I don't consider that a hobby. So I'm going to say, you know what? I've really begun to enjoy knowing the trees and birds wherever I am, but especially at my home. And there's an incredible, now this is a good way that technology affects my life. There's an app called the Merlin app that's from the starts with an A. Audubon Society that will identify the song, right? The song or appearance of your bird.
Cool.
And so I have a fountain and a bird feeder outside my guest room window where I do a lot of my writing and work. And so I hang with these birds. And also I love knowing what the plants are around me, because when the world ends and we have to figure out which ones we use for medicine, I want to have that information.
Right on. Well, I'll remind you, this was a rapid fire situation. I think we're out of time, but why don't I do one, and you're going to answer it with one word.
Okay. Sorry. Puzzles.
This is number 10. We're skipping through a few. Where do you want to go that you've never been?
Where do you go that you've never been? I know where. Mount
Tam.
I've been to Mount Tam.
Okay. But you haven't been to those cute cabins, Steep Ravine.
No, I toured Japan in a kabuki play, but I would like to go to the temples of Kyoto to learn some ancient Japanese temple building.
While you're there, check out this amazing Japanese woodworking museum in Kobe.
Right on.
Right nearby Kyoto. And fans...
Kobe as in Kobe beef?
As in, yeah. Oh. But they also have amazing wood joints. A great museum.
We got to get out of here and get us
let's go.
Kobe cheeseburger.
Please remember that signed copies of our book, Little Woodchucks, you want to hold it up? Are available at premiercollectibles.com/woodchucks. And we're so happy that you joined us today. We're so happy that you're interested in becoming one of us, Woodchucks for life. And
folks, this is so much fun. This is one of my best helpers. His name is Demetrius. But I'm telling you, look at this.
Good stuff.
Nikki Sebastian took these pictures. Lauren Shields art directed them. Joanna Ford styled our hair and mustaches. Vianne Nguyen oversaw things. Jill Schwartzman, editor. This is an incredible village. Made this really fun book. We hope you will enjoy it. Otsukare sama deshita.
Goodbye.
Hey, this is John Acuff, New York Times best-selling author of 7 books and someone who's done a live signing. If you like the one you just watched, make sure you check out our YouTube channel. It's full of amazing authors having great conversations and signing books for viewers just like you. So make sure you subscribe, and thanks for watching today.